Welcome, everybody. I am delighted to welcome you today for the Naturance webinar about how nature-based solutions and insurance can work hand in hand to manage climate risk while restoring ecosystem and strengthening resilience. My name is Jaro Miziak, and I am a principal scientist at the Euro-Mediterranean Center on Climate Change, and I happen to coordinate the initiative which is called Naturance, Nature for Insurance, Insurance for Nature. Nature teaches us how to manage risk in regenerative and forward-looking ways. We choose nature because not only because it's effective, but because it's the foundation of our well-being, economies, and resilience. Nature restoration provides a cost-effective ways of reducing risk while also delivering multiple co-benefits for communities, ecosystem, and, and livelihoods. And this is what we have demonstrated throughout our webinar series before. Naturance is evolving from a reactive tool for damage compensation and financial protection to a proactive one that can help preserve and restore ecosystem. And this is the main objective of this initiative, Naturance. This is where the concept of the greenium comes in. If nature solution demonstrably reduced expected damage, reflected in reduced annual expected damage, as we see on the picture, they can also translate into lower insurance premiums. That creates financial incentive for nature restoration. And this is the main objective of the project, to identify those cases that are that can be put in practice that have a clearly demonstrated incentive for the insurers or investors at large. We must also say that the insurance itself has shifted in focus. Traditionally, the insurance has been a financial instrument. Nowadays, we need to see insurance through a public policy lenses. So the growing financial protection gap between total and insured losses has led to a shift in responsibilities. Governance, alongside with insurance sector, are recognizing that financial protection must be accessible, affordable, and equitable. Ecosystem restoration in this context becomes one environmental strategy and a tool for financial resilience. So Naturance is basically a project, an initiative that started in October 2022 and has evolved ever since. So we are in the final stages of the project. The main operating rules of the project are innovation labs that bring together different stakeholders to co-create and design incentive for combining the nature restoration and nature-based solution within the insurance instrument and investment instrument as well. And then second way of operating are innovation festivals that we organize every 9 until 10 months and bring together all our constituencies, our stakeholders to showcase the outcomes and promote cross-sectoral dialogues and facilitate and catalyze new partnership. So that's about this initiative. To put you into context, today we have a distinguished researcher, Andrea Staccione, who is a postdoc at the Global Land Ecosystem Modeling Group at the Karlsruhe Institute of Technology in Garmisch-Partenkirchen in Germany, as well as Euro-Mediterranean Center on Climate Change, the Division Risk Assessment and Adaptation Strategies. And Andrea is working on a number of things contributing to Naturance with both the emphasis from the Karlsruhe Institute of Technology on the global ecosystem modeling, but also from the CMCC point of view. And she will today share with us insight about how the nature-based solution can contribute to resilience at the urban scale and how they can be used in order to reduce the climate risk those cities face, and how those reduction can be translated into something that might motivate the people to invest in this type of intervention. So without any further ado, I would hand over to Andrea. Andrea, thank you very much for being with us, and the floor is yours.
Thank you, Yaro, for the kind introduction and for the invite to give this talk today on my work on nature-based solution for climate change and disaster risk reduction with a special focus on cities today. So why we're talking about nature-based solution? They are well recognized today in several international, national, and European policy and strategies as key actions to pursue this transformative change towards a more sustainable relationship within nature and societies that enhance our resilience. And this is based on their multifunctionality. Indeed, nature-based solutions work by enhancing the ecosystem functioning to provide multiple social, environmental, economic benefits while protecting biodiversity and supporting resilience. In the urban environment, for example, we can find the urban green parks, green roofs, green alleys, rain gardens that use the nature vegetation functionalities to absorb, for example, CO2, to filter air pollution, and to cooling the temperature. At the same time, they're acting to enhancing the water retention of the soils to reduce the runoff, but also provide a nice space for recreational opportunity and have a nicer landscape. However, nature-based solutions at the same time are living solutions, so they are also subjected to environmental and climate change that can undermine their effectiveness in future scenarios. And so the way they are designed and distributed across the landscape is crucial to maintain their effectiveness and to have the expected benefits. So one way to enhance and ensure this effectiveness on nature-based solution is to ensure that they are not isolated but are connected through the landscape, building in a larger network. This enhances the connectivity role. So the degree, this is based on connectivity. So the degree to which the landscape influences the movement of living organisms and materials across the landscape to maintain and to provide ecosystem services. And when this is based and combined with diverse, redundant, good quality, and proximity to humans of ecosystem feature, this contribute to enhance even better the resilience and the provision of ecosystem services. Connectivity can be studied by translating the real world into simplified images and graph-based representation that can be also applied in the nature-based solution context. Identify those areas that act as core areas or nodes, or those areas that act as link and corridors. In this way, nature-based solution create a green infrastructure network that contribute to maintain a well-connected ecosystem and support the flow of ecosystem services. So in this context, my work tried to see how this network approach can be applied in the context of nature-based solution to assess how this network can respond to the societal needs of the society, to the societal needs in future climate change scenarios. And to start, we built a conceptual framework that is a flexible tool to assess the current status of a green network and to build future network design that can inform future intervention. This approach have been tested and applied and can be used in different scale and different contexts. For example, we tested this at the Po River Basin scale in the Padang district, try to mapping the existing network to identify those areas that need to be stronger connected, or those areas that where connection should be preserved to maintain the network stable. And this is a nice work that posed the base for an undergoing project Klimaxpo, where we're trying now to integrate both green and blue infrastructure network to assess the ecosystem services provide and build a future additional configuration and potential scenarios. Similarly, we go beyond and we apply this at the European level with a focus on protected areas, where we try to see how enhancing the network of protected areas through additional corridors can help to achieve the biodiversity strategies targets, while maintaining ecosystem services provided, especially focusing on the supply services, so the food and agricultural productivity, for example, while maintaining contributing to adaptation in future scenarios. And also, this is a nice example of studies that is still now under further development, where through my collaboration with Karlsruhe Institute of Technologies, where we are trying to develop new configuration and optimize green protected areas network and assess them. But coming to the focus of today, so we want to focus on cities, so coming to the smaller and local and complex context of cities. Cities are why we want to concentrate on cities, because most of the population is living here. They are most of the time built up environment, very fragmented, very densely with limited space for green space, for green, and also hotspot for climate and disaster risk. But at the same time, offer many opportunities to implement nature-based solution. And we focused as a case study on the city of Milan in Italy, to show this duality of risk and opportunity. Milan is one of the cities with the highest flood risk, especially in economic terms, but at the same time is working a lot with nature-based solution, offers several planner opportunities for urban green regeneration to reduce flood risk and heat waves. So the aim of this work is to assess the impacts of improved urban green network to mitigate pluvial flood risk in terms of direct damages to building and population exposed, by analyzing the existing urban green network to define greening scenarios and to assess how this improved green network can reduce the pluvial flood impacts. So we started looking at the existing green network. We map those elements that can act as a core areas, so nodes of the network, and those that are the corridors. And we try to assess them with some landscape connectivity indices, identify how actually Milan has a good and well-developed green network in their peripheral areas, but is poorly and scarce connected through the city center. So this was our starting point to build new scenarios. And we based this on the identification of suitable areas, prioritizing the green accessibility. So we identify all those areas that can guarantee a green space every 5-10 minutes of walk to identify the suitable areas of intervention, that then has been characterized according to several criteria, starting from the damages to the building related to floods that the city experience, the residential population, the possibility of converting effectively open space to green spaces, the possibility to convert roof into green roof, so greening of the building, and how these what could be their impact according to the imperviousness of the surrounding. And all these criteria were normalized between 0 and 1. So we use these criteria to define our scenarios according to three strategies. So the greening of buildings, the greening of open space, and then the combination of two to have a green cities. With two minimization objective, with the aim to minimize from one side the damages to the building, and on the other side minimize the population exposed. And putting together these criteria, we rank the suitable areas, and we define incremental percentage of green conversion in the city of Milan. Defining new permeability value to the new areas according to the share of the green building and space in itself, giving a range from 0 to 1 to cells that are completely impermeable, 0, to 1 completely permeable. And these are the scenario that we developed, so according to the strategies and the objectives. All these scenarios were used as an input for a model and to assess actually the impact of this network in terms of pluvial flood risk reduction. So the mapping, the scenarios were used as an input in a static pluvial flood hazard model that is used to simulate the water depth on cumulative surface cumulative on surface depression during precipitation events, that is able to account for the change in soil permeability, so is able to capture the change of each scenarios. And we use this to model precipitation events of 1 hour under different rain intensities. The output of the model, so the water depth, was then linked to, in a depth damage function, to link the magnitude, the water depth, to the value of the exposed asset, in this case, the building reconstruction cost. And similar, so this was used to compute the damages to the building. And similar, we link this to the number of population exposed, so counting the population exposed to different classes of water depth from 0 to above 1 meter. Slightly exposed to affected to displaced. The results were computed in terms of changes compared to the baseline of each scenarios, percentile change, and to expected annual damage or expected annual population exposed. In all the scenarios, we actually see a huge reduction of the damages and the population exposed according to all the scenarios and all the rain intensity. Of course, we have seen a higher impact where we combine both buildings, greening of the building and greening of the open space, so the green city scenarios, and with a slightly higher effect when we are considering lower rain intensities. But this, and we have seen reduction up to the 60% with an expected annual damage reduction of 50% already, with only 25% of greening in the city scenarios. And similar was for the population exposed. For the population, we also observed a shift towards of population to lower class of exposure. Similarly, we also look at how the spatial prioritization of these impacts, so where the area that influenced that were more effective in providing these benefits to the city were located in order to inform the decision making, urban planning, to see where they must intervene or prioritize the future intervention and investments. And you can see these, the darker and bigger dot are those areas that have higher impact in terms of population exposed and damage reduction. Similar approach were already being tested in several cities across Europe with thanks to other projects, where we actually looked where we work together with the cities and the decision maker to tailor the approach and analysis to their needs. So we, for example, looked in Athens, we carried out a similar analysis to the one in Milan, exploring the green intervention to improve flood resilience and accessibility to green space. In Gdynia, we look especially at the identification of hotspot of at risk of flood. In Logronio, we look at the impact or the effect of already planned green intervention in future climate scenarios. Or in Cascais, we assess the pre and post effect of nature-based solution intervention to inform future investment decision. In all these cases, we we looked, we had the positive results of nature-based solution impacts on reducing the pluvial flood risk and providing several other ecosystem services. So I'm coming to a conclusion with some take-home messages where we actually looked at a network approach can offer a flexible framework to prioritize action across multiple scale and in different contexts. With the opportunity of this work to provide evidence of the effectiveness of this connecting nature-based solution for climate change adaptation and disaster risk reduction, where actually we learned that how co-design and tailored approach for cities are essential to deliver concrete context-specific impacts to strengthen their resilience plans, but also how economic benefits can help to support future strategies, investment, innovative financing mechanisms such as insurance to support future nature-based adaptation. And with this, I thank you for the attention, and I'm happy to take any question, if any.
This was fantastic presentation. Thank you very much, Andrea. So it was really full of insightful thoughts and interesting ideas. I have you in your presentation. You have cut across different governance scales, and this is really valuable. So you've demonstrated that the same methodological analytical approach can be used and applied at different scales, from local, regional to the pan-European one. Speaking about the financial opportunities of translating the nature restoration into investment business model, I was just wondering, you are working on finding a way how to attract the investment into the extension of nature protected areas at the European level. This is one of the last nature and innovation laboratories, and you are collaborating with a number of institutions in order to develop the ideas how this could be done. So could you anticipate some thoughts about what you are doing and how you are imagining this might work?
Yeah, sure. Thank you for the question. Indeed, this is really interesting and uh, inspiring topic where we actually are trying to put together experts from several fields, from with other in collaboration with other projects as well, experts from the private businesses, startups, insurance, to try to explore how to make nature conservation investment and protection attractive for the private businesses in a way to make some suggestions, some investigate some insight to make this operational. So we are trying to investigate what are the main barriers, what are the main instruments that can be applied, what are the opportunities and enable conditions that can be turned and translate into some opportunity for the private sectors. So the idea is to want to try to build some suggestion through a kind of business model approach to capture really what could be the value and enhance the value of including nature conservation into private businesses accounting, for example.
Brilliant. Thank you very much. And we're looking forward to learning more about your result, you know, throughout the next events, webinars, or the final conference. So thank you very much, Andrea, for having been with us. Thank you to everybody who will connect or who will listen to this webinar. Your engagement in insurance initiatives is highly appreciated. So before we end this webinar, I just wanted to flag out the next opportunity that we will have to interact with you and invite you to our final Innovation Festival, Festival of Financial Innovation for Nature Restoration, Nature-Based Solution. This festival will take place in Brussels, and we are hoping to attract the attention of different European Commission services, as well as the financial institution in Europe and across the European Union. But you are also very welcome to join us. So it's going to be a big event. We will flag out all our innovation laboratories. We will listen to other initiatives that are being developed in parallel, and we are looking forward to bringing a nice synthesis and handing over to our European and national policy and decision makers the business collection of business cases, why restoration of ecosystem make an economic value, make economic sense, and how this could be done. So you will find more information about this event at www.naturanceproject brussels.eu/events/Nature's final event, as you see on the screen. And we hope you will be with us in Brussels, if not, then at one of the next webinar or regional workshop that we will organize. So thank you very much again to Andrea. Thank you very much to everybody who is listening to this webinar. And I wish you a nice day and keep in touch. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.